Oh, you have got to be shitting me! When my Aunt Deborah told me there are actual confections called Irish potatoes, and that they originated where the Americans first declared their traitorous intentions, I figured she must have been taking the piss out of dear old Oliver. I can't imagine a title less appetizing than Irish potato. It'd be like calling your carbonated beverage septic tank. Surely something so perfectly mad couldn't possibly exist. But truth, as they say, is stranger than fiction. For the ignorant amongst you, and given the American education system, I assume that means the majority, the Irish potato famine was a seminal event in European history that resulted in a dramatic population shift and great loss of life. And apparently, it inspired a candy that I still refuse to believe exists. Any moment now, I expect to wake up on the floor of some brothel, thoroughly fuddled and possibly high on opium. Between 1845 and 1852, Ireland suffered from mass starvation and disease, resulting in the mass exodus of more than 2 million people from the so-called Emerald Isles, which, along with the deaths of 1 million people, led to a population decline of up to 25%. And the proximate cause of this human tragedy, amongst other factors, was a potato blight, which may have actually originated in the colonies. And diseased potatoes may have traveled to Britain on ships from Philadelphia, Baltimore, and New York. So one traitorous people may have caused the misfortune of another traitorous people, causing the second group of traitors to immigrate to the homeland of the first group of traitors. As the Americans would say, my mind is blown. In 1845, anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2 of all cultivated potatoes were destroyed, while in 1846, a full 3/4 of the harvest was lost to blight. The problem was massively compounded by the near total Irish dependency on potatoes, which had become a staple in the early 19th century, with 1 in 3 relying on the starchy crop by 1800. All of this in turn led to the mass emigration of approximately 1 million Irish between 1846 and 1851, mainly to the colonies. Coincidentally, around about the same time, America experienced an epidemic of body odor. The very first stick of Arm & Hammer was actually produced in 1847. Curious timing. And speaking of firsts, American immigrants supposedly created the very first Irish potato candies in Philadelphia in the 1860s, taking coconut cream and covering it in cinnamon, giving these strange confections the appearance of miniature potatoes. And for over 150 years, they've been a popular treat in and around America's first capital, especially over St. Patrick's Day, also known as the day that Americans get thoroughly pickled to celebrate the patron saint of gin and whiskey. Numerous Philadelphia-based confectioners produce these Irish potatoes, including Stutz Candy Company, which has been at it since 1965, and Orion's, which supposedly ships 80,000 pounds of them to chains and smaller candy stores. Personally, I'd rather eat something called broken glass than Irish potatoes, but to each their own. Oh dear God, it tastes worse than it sounds. It'd be like eating a pile of dog or grits as it's known in America, and finding a petrified rat in the center. I never thought I'd find anything more repulsive than haggis, but the name of this dreck combined with the coconut cream filling put this in a class of its own. And I rate this Irish atrocity 1 silver spoon out of 5, and may God have mercy on anyone fool enough to try this. Curiously, I feel no different towards the Irish. Read into that what you will. Please show your appreciation for my efforts and consuming quasi-poisonous treats with a like. and I shall return to educate the great unwashed masses and those of good letters and breeding on the finer things in life and delightful cuisine.